Hello, boys and girls. It's me and my dog, Gracie. And this is Storytime with Jamie. And right now it's a Storytime with Jamie and a little bit of a shivering Gracie. I'm going to have to snuggle her in my coat here in just a minute. But I just wanted to remind you, if you like the story, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and if you're interested in ever purchasing any of my books or download the digital copy, you can always go to jamiebryantbooks.com. So today, as you can see, we are actually outside and it is a snowy day. And the story we're going to read today is from a book of bedtime stories I wrote. It's called Fish Guts and Other Bedtime Stories. And in this book, there is a story called Snow Day. But I'm going to unzip my jacket a little bit and let Gracie snuggle right in here for the story today, because I can tell she's getting a little chilly. I've got all her favorite blankets, but here we go, Gracie. So again, today's story is Snow Day. Growing up in Virginia was a kid's dreamland in the winter. We would take our baths at night, lay out our school clothes, and Mom would tuck us in snugly on winter nights. The sky would be clear, yet many times while we slept, our little town would get covered with glorious inches of snow, kind of like what we're in right now. We would wake up and know instantly by the temperature of our little two-bedroom mobile home that the weather had changed. I was always the early riser, and as I crawled out of bed, the glare would hit me like a jolt. I would go towards the window, and I knew in an instant, Snow Day. On one such day, our entire yard was completely covered in an icy white blanket of snow. I woke up my brother and turned on the radio to wait for the official announcement. Our shouts of joy sounded out as the radio announcer's voice said those words every kid in Richlands, Virginia wanted to hear. Also, schools will be closed today in Tazewell County, the announcer would say. I wasn't quite sure what living in Tazewell County meant, but I knew we were part of it. We were instantly jumping for joy. Our mom and dad still had to go to work, but Grandma lived next door, and the best sled riding hill in the neighborhood was right by her house. I can only remember the city workers closing off that hill a couple of times, and today ended up being one of those times. The straight down slope was so packed with snow turned ice that even cars with chains couldn't handle it. When we saw those bright orange cones blocking off traffic, we were shouting all the more. This meant we could go up and down all day and not need to worry about the cars. Ma and Paul Justice, our babysitters for the day, insisted we have a big breakfast before we headed out to play in the snow. They were both great cooks. Paul started frying the bacon. Do y'all like bacon? I love bacon. And the eggs too, while Grandma made biscuits and her famous white gravy. We loved Grandma's gravy. The smell was wonderful and we ate heartily. We bundled up from head to toe and started rounding up our friends. Bradley, who was my age, was the first to join us. Next, we knocked on Teresa's door, and she said she would be out soon. By the time we pulled our sleds out of the shed and made it to the leveled part of the top of the hill, other kids were gathering. I'm not sure how my brother Mitch talked me into it, but somewhere he got to go first. Bradley and Teresa went together, and next I was waiting on Mitch to bring our sled back up the hill. Teresa looked back at me smiling as she yelled, "Come on, Jamie, you're gonna love it." I did. I hopped on, and being 3 years younger than Mitch, chickened out on going by myself. Mitch hopped on with me, which just intensified the ride. A little push and we went soaring down the hill, me screaming all the way. Mitch grabbed the front end of the sled as we neared the bottom and made a quick turn to the left. We both went flying off the sled. Oh, wow. I think the tree's dropping some snow on us. And Mitch landed right on top of me. He laughed his goofy laugh, and after giving him a dirty look, I couldn't hold back a grin myself. It was going to be an awesome day. Before long, our little group had grown to about 15 kids. This was undoubtedly, it's like we're getting snow as we read, boys and girls. It was undoubtedly the best snow day ever. One of our first contests was to see whose sled could go the farthest distance once it landed at the bottom of the hill. To go the farthest, oh sorry Gracie, to go the farthest at the bottom, you had to be going pretty fast coming down the hill. After 2 rides with my brother and the speed of the sled, I decided I could go alone. Mitch was a lot of fun, but slightly crazy when it came to things like this. We all got 2 tries to see who could go the farthest, and a boy named Michael from 2 blocks over, he won. Next, we decided to have the craziest rider contest. Mitch went down backwards. I just laid down backwards on my stomach for my crazy ride. Our neighbor, Bradley, screamed all the way down, and the other kids all did various silly stunts. Mitch, of course, was not to be outdone. He decided to begin his ride standing up on the sled. He was only standing for a second or 2 before plopping down to finish his ride. We were all impressed, though, and he won the crazy ride vote. About that time, Grandma called us in to warm up with some hot chocolate. That sounds good about now, doesn't it, Gracie? Some hot chocolate? Oh, I think she perked her ears up for that. If we were cold, though, we didn't know it. But the words hot chocolate got our attention. Let's bundle up, Gracie, for the rest of the story. Ma and Pa were the best. They invited the whole gang of us inside, and after we drank and thawed out about 20 minutes, we were right back at it. Whoa! I'm not sure where we got our energy to keep lugging our sleds up the steep, slippery hill, but we did. The only other break we took that afternoon was for lunch. Everyone took a fairly long lunch break and warmed up really good. Oh, that one got me, Gracie. Oh, goodness. By 2:30 that afternoon, we all went back up the hill till 4 o'clock. Some parents started getting off work, and then we had an audience. We really began to show off then. Mitch did his crazy stand-up ride, and I even rode with him and 4 others in a pile-up. Our pile-up on the sled ending in a pile-up at the bottom of the hill as we crashed. We had a blast. All too soon, the policemen arrived removing the orange cones, and once again, traffic was able to go through our street. This ended our snow day sled riding, but we all went to our separate homes very content. It had been a great day of fun. It had been a Virginia snow day. What about that story? Have you boys and girls ever been sled riding? I'll bet some of you been tubing. You have? Wonderful. That is so awesome. That is one of 20 stories in this book, Fish Guts and Other Bedtime Stories. And of course, there is a story in here about fish guts I'll read one day. But I hope you enjoyed the story today. I know Gracie did, but as you can see, my coat's not keeping her warm, so we're about to head in. We actually are in Wisconsin right now, not in Virginia. And as you can see, we have had an awesome, beautiful snow day here today. So once again, If you enjoyed the story, give us a thumbs up. Be sure and subscribe. Share with your friends who you think might enjoy a story with Storytime with Jamie, and tag along Gracie, of course. And then if you want to know more about my books, you can always visit jamiebryantbooks.com. Until next time.